chance to look at Iowa State on film, just your overall thoughts, specifically the Purdue game, what they were able to do?
I mean, they just were so disruptive defensively. Obviously, Purdue runs a lot of sets, a lot of really good sets, and they were able to disrupt all of them and kind of sped them up. And then Purdue could never get real comfortable. And then I think their probably lack of offense probably hurt their defense, Purdue's, and then obviously Iowa State's very talented offensively as well. So they're a good basketball team. You know, obviously they've got really good guards, got good shooting, got good passing. There's not a lot of holes in what they do.
How do you counter a team that does that, is so disruptive to a set offense or your offense?
You have a really good game plan. You pray. No, you have to have a good game plan. I mean, to kind of handle some of that stuff and you know, make sure that you alleviate some of the pressure to a certain level, to where it's not as disruptive. Because part of the disruption there, they were trying so hard to run specific actions, and so then it became difficult to be able to get to the actions, and that caused a lot of the problems.
Do you have any favorite Iowa State memories from like watching growing up?
You know, I mean, I've watched them a lot. Obviously, I've watched those games quite a bit. Not specific memories. You know, my brother, when he was real young, was an Iowa State fan. He's the only one in the family, so he would cheer for them. And then now he's like a diehard Hawkeye. He actually went to the University of Iowa, so. I mean, that's really about it. You know, obviously I watched them all. I've paid attention to them all. Watched all the variety of sports as well. So, but nothing specific comes to mind.
What challenges does someone like Joshua Jefferson present to you guys?
He can really pass. You know, I think he's a really good passer from an offensive perspective. And then they've got they've got shooting. They've got two guards that can really get downhill. They've got a good bench. They've got a good passing big. It's really all of it combined more so than it is one person with them. You know, that's what makes them really, really tricky to be able to defend, because they've got so many different weapons that they're able to use.
When you talk about how disruptive they are, it kind of starts with Lipsy, I think, up front. How do you counter him a little bit to make him less disruptive?
Yeah, I mean, Killian's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Making sure I pronounce his name correct. He's pretty disruptive himself. So it's the two of them, and honestly, it makes Lips even more disruptive with Torrey on the ball, some as well. So, did you say how do you counter that?
Yeah.
That's the game plan.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the game plan.
Yeah.
No, you've got to counter it in some way, shape, or form, and you know, hope that the counter that you use works consistently. You know, I didn't think we did a great job versus Michigan State. Different dynamic. You know, we knew exactly what to do, and we just didn't do it because you tried to get it just so randomly. Hopefully, this one we're a little more prepared for.
Do you think pace of play is going to be a big factor?
I don't know. I don't know. Is their pace faster, slower?
It depends. I mean, they seem to be a little faster now, but they've usually just kind of fed off their defense.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think Purdue's pace of play is really slow, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're super efficient, score a lot of points, but I think the pace is pretty slow. My guess is Iowa State's probably middle upper of the pack, but part of their pace is created because their defense is so disruptive, and so they're able to get out in transition. The other part is who you play. In my mind, I know Ken Palm tries to take that into account, but it's really tricky. You know, we're going to score a lot more points against a worse defense, and so naturally you're going to get quicker shots. Naturally, your pace is going to increase. So, I don't think so. I think you got to take the opportunities when, you know, when they're presented. If you have a shot at 1 second into the shot clock, you need to shoot it. If you have it at 25, then you need to shoot it then. So it just depends on the time.
Have you ever mixed in zone, or are you pretty exclusively man-to-man defense?
I think I went zone. This was probably my third season. So how many years have I coached? 16, 17, 16, 15? Somewhere in that range. Not 6 or 7 though. But I did it my second year. I think I came in and I think we were at Washburn was the team, and we were playing awful, and so I came in, and my punishment was that they had to play zone. And so you guys are going zone. Like, what do you mean? So here's where you stand. You stand this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, 2-3 zone. And sure enough, they missed like 2 shots in a row. I'm like, oh, this might actually work. I think we were down like 15 or 16 at that point. And then they just went, then it was dunk, wide open 3, dunk, wide open 3. And I'm like, yeah, zone doesn't work. But then they're like, coach, we got to go man, we got to go man. I was like, no, this is your punishment. Eventually, when we went man, we actually won the game though. And so that was the only time that I ever went zone.
How do you prepare your team for such a raucous environment?
I mean, you really don't. I mean, you try your hardest. It's louder than you would think, and the communication is the real struggle. It's not the enthusiasm in the gym. It's the ability to communicate consistently is the hardest part. I mean, it is hard. You can't really prepare. You just you go in there. You have to. There's going to be things that go on. You have to find ways to talk to each other, whether it's through verbal or just through body language, and find a way to be able to communicate some of those things.
How much does that Michigan State game help in preparing the team and just kind of understanding, like, this is the experience that we had in Michigan State, this is going to be a very similar experience tomorrow?
Good question. I think it's going to help a lot. I think that part of it is just helping our staff included, just with the preparation piece of it, just making sure you don't overthink it or try to grip the game, because a lot of times, we're able to grip games, like we're able to control it pretty good. But a lot of that requires a lot of communication. And so when you're not able to communicate, now how do you grip a game without communication? And so just learning from that experience, and because we had a good game plan going into Michigan State, we just didn't execute it, just looking back at it. And so we need to make sure that we can execute this one.
Is there anything you guys can do to affect the whistle you're getting on the defensive end? Because you're minus 34 in free throws in the last 2 games. Is there anything you can do to get an easier whistle on defense?
I don't know. If you got any suggestions, let me know. It's minus 34. Is it that just Big Ten games?
The last 2.
So was that Purdue and? Or, I'm
Michigan
sorry.
State and Maryland, yeah.
Okay, the Big Ten games. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. Maybe we don't attack the paint enough. Maybe there's something, but I felt like Bennett attacks the paint pretty consistently. How many free throws did he shoot last game?
I don't know.
2 or 3. I don't know. It's probably above my pay grade. It's probably a job for Big Ten and the officials and all that stuff. That's their job, not mine. So we just gotta go play the game.
Did you happen to hear what Buzz Williams said on his radio show about the fouls?
Somebody sent that to me. Who sent it to me? I didn't probably pay attention as closely. What did he say?
He said he wished they would have stopped calling fouls down the stretch.
Oh yeah.
On everybody. It made it sound like he thought it was just way too many touch fouls.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah. I don't have much to comment on one way or the other. Yeah.
How much going into this type of atmosphere does it help having a veteran point guard who you coached for 3 years? You guys know each other like the back of your hand. How much does that help you in a situation like this?
It definitely helps. It just because, and just having enough guys that have been in our program for at least a year, even though you're still pretty infant in what you're trying to do, just because there's still other new guys. I think having him out there obviously creates a level of confidence, and I just have to do a good job of making sure that he's in the right spots consistently. And so you have him, you have a guy that's been through some of these things, you have other guys that have played an NCAA tournament. I certainly think that helps. Whether it is helps the outcome, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, Thursday.
Did Tavion guard as many guards as he is right now at Drake?
No, he didn't. He guarded more bigs last year, but we found that him guarding guards engages him a lot more defensively. He doesn't have to get into ball screen coverage as much. He's able to go get defensive rebounds a little easier. Some of those things has really helped us.
What do you like about his ball pressure?
He's got great length. It's deceptive too. Even when he's not into the ball, it's more strange than you think. Just because he can really impact the ball, he can impact passes. You can feel him, when he's near you. So there's like things that don't show up in the stat sheet that certainly allow that. And obviously he's got a level of edge to him, which certainly helps us too.
I remember you saying after the Michigan State game that there were things that you did as a coach that you wanted to be able to learn from moving forward. I'm just curious, how do you feel like you have started to learn from the things that you experienced against Michigan State and now even implementing them against Maryland and Iowa State?
Yeah, I think if you want to be really good at something, you have to constantly self-evaluate, and you have to constantly figure out what you can control, and really the only thing you can is yourself and how you were. And so even after every game, after your practice, every conversation with my players or my staff, there's always an evaluation of what could I have done better to help that conversation, to help that game, to help that situation. And same with Michigan State. So what specifically, there's a couple game plan things that I knew going in. We had it ready. We were supposed to get to it, and we couldn't get to the specific action. We probably got to it 3 times. We scored on all 3 possessions. And having an ability to get to that in a loud atmosphere was probably my mistake. Outside of the other stuff, there was a few things that I couldn't control. But hopefully, hopefully it'll be better against Iowa State.
At Michigan State, even during the timeouts, it was loud, like with band and music or whatever. How do you communicate in the huddle with the coaching staff? Like, do you just have to yell really loud, or is there writing down things? I don't know. You
can hear fine in the huddles.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why, but you're able to hear.
Okay.
Fine in the huddles. Yeah. At least I hear myself talk, so maybe they're not paying attention. But you kind of kept saying, get to this, and it just wouldn't get to that because we were trying to get to it organically or randomly. And sometimes when you try to do that in those environments, they freeze and they don't understand how to work with each other, and that was part of the problem with that game.
All right, thanks, guys.